name's Anna. I am from the Northwest in Preston. I've got twins, a boy and a girl, Zachary and Eliza. I live at home with my partner Stephen. They are my only children and they have just turned 17 months. I was first diagnosed when I went back to work after Eliza and Zachary turned 9 months old. I was a teacher in quite a stressful job, and everything sort of got on top of me after coming from quite a chaotic home, I suppose, with 2 babies, and then having to deal with everything at work. It just all got too much, and one day I ended up crying on the caretaker of all people, and he very quickly got someone to help me, and I was sent home from work and advised to go to the doctor. But I actually already knew that I needed to go to the doctor. It just took somebody else to tell me that visit was needed. So I went to the doctors with Stephen, and I was told then, even though I knew that the words coming out of my mouth were all saying postnatal depression, everything I was experiencing I'd read about, I'd read on the TAMBA website, I'd read in the leaflet. I knew that that's what the doctor was going to say, even though I didn't want him to say it. As soon as he said it, it was just this huge release, and I was really upset and quite distressed at the thought that I, of all people, could be suffering with this illness. And he told me that I would need to go for counselling, and that I'd probably need to go onto medication, and that I needed to take it and I needed to go for the counselling in order to get better, because what I was experiencing wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought I was like watching myself, watching this person with a life that I didn't want it to be like, if that makes sense. The first course of treatment was going on to the medication. I wasn't hesitant to take it. I knew that it was going to help me. It took a while, and I had a brilliant GP who was very supportive. She spoke to me once a week, and sort of upped my medication accordingly. I then was referred to a local Minds Matter charity who provide mental health care for people with postnatal depression or depression. And I went for some one-to-one counselling sessions. At first, when I called, they ring back for a telephone interview. And the girl on the phone asked me a series of questions, and she said, right, well, there are these options. You can either do this online course, or we can put you forward for this stress management course, but that won't be till January, and this is in the September. And I was like, no, I need help now. And I put the phone down, and I was quite upset that I hadn't gotten any further with that. So I rang my health visitor, because I just thought I needed more help. I needed to be able to speak to somebody that wasn't in my family, that wasn't Stephen, that wasn't a friend. I just needed somebody outside of that circle to be able to convey what I was feeling, because a lot of what I was feeling made me feel guilty. So I rang the health visitor, and they provide 6 listening visits. So as soon as you're diagnosed with postnatal depression, you get 6 listening visits from your health visitor. After I got off the phone with her, I felt better. I then got a call back off Minds Matter, and they said, actually, reading through your questionnaire, you've scored quite high, so we can refer you to some one-to-one counselling. And I was put on a quick waiting list, and within 2 weeks I'd gone to see a counsellor for some one-to-one sessions, which I found really useful, really helpful, just being able to talk about what I was going through, why I felt the way that I felt, what sort of things impacted on me to get me to that stage, why I was experiencing that. So the treatment really helped. Plus my family, my parents, I couldn't have done it without them. my sister, even though she's in Australia at the other side of the world, just being able to talk to her about it, just getting it off your chest really, and realising that not everybody's feeling like you're feeling. And that's what I thought. I thought everybody felt like that, which is why I didn't say anything, which is why every time the health visitor asked me previously, was I all right? I said I was when I wasn't. So yeah, the medication, the counselling and the support from my friends and family were what got me through, or are still getting me through. When the doctor said the words, "You are postnatally depressed," I think I just broke down again. That whole day, that whole week, I'd cried non-stop, I think, and Stephen couldn't understand. So when the doctor said those words, and I knew that that was what was wrong, Stephen also understood that that was what was wrong. It was almost a bit of a sigh of relief as well, because we then knew how we could start to get out of it. I think the doctor said, you feel like you're in this black hole and there's no way out, and it was like I was trying to claw out of this never-ending mist, I suppose, of almost floating along and watching the life that you were supposed to enjoy, yet couldn't. And I couldn't understand why I didn't feel happy, because I'd gotten everything I ever wanted. I'd tried for a long time to get pregnant. I'd gone through treatment. I was under a consultant at the hospital. This was all I ever wanted. Why wasn't I happy with it? The lowest point came one day when I was feeding the children their lunch, and I found myself a lot quite sitting and staring and watching them play and not interacting with them and not speaking to them. So I'd noticed that I was feeding them and not saying any words, and I'd watch my mum with them, and she was always chatting and saying, "Oh, well done," and this. And I sort of sat there blankly, and I just thought, okay, if I just walk out of the door now, if I just go, they're in the high chairs, they'll be okay. I'll just go, and then ring my mum and say, "Mum, you need to go to my house," and I'll just go away. And that, for me, that was the real low point. Not wanting to anything to happen to me or to hurt myself. I just wanted to take myself away from that situation, because I felt guilty. I felt like I couldn't cope. I felt like they weren't my children. I felt like I developed more of a bond with my little girl than I had with my little boy, which again made me feel guilty. And yeah, that was the lowest point, wanting to just walk away. Now I feel great. I feel like I used to feel. I feel like my life is what I imagined it would be like. I've gone back to work and I'm there full time. My boss has been wonderful in my return to work. They've been very understanding, which has helped. I almost feel on top of the world, really. I'm still on my medication, and I know that that's helping me. But I have had a conversation with my doctor in the last few weeks about in the next few months we'll start to reduce the dosage, and then hopefully come off that. Exercise has been key in my recovery and still is. I exercise regularly. If I don't get to the gym, then I get a bit antsy about it, and I need Stephen to let me run off for an hour, and he understands that. I feel confident now to talk about it. I wrote a blog about it and posted it on my Facebook page because I didn't want to shy away from what had happened. I didn't want to feel funny about what people thought when I went back to work or why I'd not been there, and I wanted to give everybody that opportunity. If they want to know about why I've been off, then they can find out. They can read my blog, or if they don't want to find out, then that's up to them. But yeah, I feel brilliant. I feel like this is how it was supposed to be. And I almost can't remember feeling. I can remember it, I can describe it to you, but I can't remember that feeling, what it actually felt like at the time. So I'm really pleased, and I'm really thankful for all the help that I've gotten off my parents, off Stephen, off my family, my friends, and my colleagues. And of course from Tamba Twin Line, been on the phone numerous times, being able to speak to people via the website, via email, been in touch with other mums that have had postnatal depression and are going through it. And you actually find out that you're not the only one. And as soon as you bring it up, you can relate to other people, even mums of singleton babies. And I think you have to look back as to what the triggers might be or might have been, and perhaps avoid them in the future. And I think one of the things for me was that it was quite a traumatic birth, and almost revisiting that and walking through it in your head and thinking that everything turned out all right in the end. And I found new ways now of developing bonds that I feel I lost in the first few months with my children. And it's just so nice to see them happy and growing and playing and developing in confidence. So yes, I feel great. If you are worried at all about anything, don't be scared to ask for help. When your midwife and health visitor come, don't be afraid to say, I can't cope, I'm not coping. You're not like anybody else, you've got more than one baby at once. Everybody's different, everybody's circumstances are different, so you can't, everybody's symptoms are different as well, so you might have different symptoms to what you've read about. If you've got any worries or concerns whatsoever, get in touch with your GP or just tell a friend, someone that you can talk to get the advice and the help that you need. Exercise would be key for me. If you can't get out to the gym or you can't get to a class or anything like that, get the twins in the buggy and get out for a walk, get some fresh air, some vitamin D. Talk calmly to your partner about it. They might not understand at first, but after a while, don't feel guilty. As long your children are happy and healthy, and they need a healthy, happy mum. So if you are worried about anything, you need to fix yourself so that you can continue to be a great parent. And if you are having a down day, even if you're not diagnosed or you don't, if it's just the baby blues at the start, just get them in the pram, get out, and someone will say, "Oh, I don't know how you do it with two. I don't know how you do it with twins." And you think, well, I do it. I'm super mum, and just give yourself a pat on the back, because whatever you're doing is an amazing job.